Hello, 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 hello. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For a chat. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Please share the channel with your friends. Tell people we are here. Thank you. Thank you for coming. All right. Owa Francis. Thank you. Share the channel. Kwame. All right. Africa Boulevard. Thank you. Thank you. Please share the channel. And thank you, Kojo. Thank you for coming. The more you educate yourself, the better you become. The more information you give to yourself, the better you become, the more exposed you become. Success is exposure. The more you have interaction with a lot of things, the easier for us to become successful, the easier for us to, explain a lot of things in our favor. So thank you for coming. Idana, thank you. Kodana too, thank you. Abia, echiao. You don't know my who there. Thank you. And you again, Kojo Savo Kantanka. Hey, Boga, Michao, Nano Corner, fine. Michao for money in Yamis. Okay. Greetings. So this is a code now OBENG DARKO. Want to able Kunibia, this is all limited opportunities. You should be able to buy one. It's on Amazon and is in Ghana as well. One is 30 cities. Good book. Perspective. You should be able to buy one. Educate yourself. Kind graphic check. How to develop the mindset to start and build your business. If you are in our country and if you're a young man, don't double think. And don't hope that somebody is going to give you a very good job with a good salary so that no. Start something, build something. We need people to build industries, no matter how difficult it is. This is resilience, ability to stay with it until you become successful. Isa Michao, Salome, Michao, Daniel, Michao. And this is Streamline How to Teach Yourself Money. These are very simple books, English books, they say. And you're difficult. Even if you have primary school education, you will see one or two words that will encourage you, to learn. And there's a new book, African Advantage. Nkrofose Ekronunye. Tifini ya yakoswa ehudi ya deba. Yakosa ehudi ya deba. So if you're tuned wrongly, you see the world differently. Today, somebody told me a story. I met a young man. He said, I've been watching you. I have a degree. When I was doing the degree, I was a security. And as a matter of fact, when I saw him, he was in a security uniform, at the airport, Kumasi. And I was just there and he came. And he said that I was just paying a little. But because of the information, I've been able to discipline myself to save something. And it's significant. So when people give them free money, he keeps them. It's the data, it's information. And even after school, he's still doing that work. After school, he's still working there as security with his degree and his saving. You say your problem is you have a very big problem. You are saying it though. Many times it's not that you have a very big problem. It is because of your understanding of what you call problem that you're meeting, or you're dealing with. So information is key. If there is any people who worry so much in this life, is Africans, because we think that everybody else is okay. Because the fact is that the others don't show us their pain. They don't show us their struggles. They don't show us their inefficiencies, We think that they are perfect. So we sit in Ghana, we mention some countries' names, and we say that, oh, when you go there, everything is perfect. And they actually have made us to see that they are perfect. So for instance, when your business, if you're building business and you're meeting a lot of difficulties, you think that somewhere there's no difficulties. They say that so you hear these big companies that they mention, their names, you think that is the systems are buoyant, strong. That's why they're successful. You'll be shocked that when you go close, the same problems that you're meeting, they are meeting them. but they told you that, yes, they don't have any challenge. They have made you to believe that they are perfect, and you have accepted that. And many of us are like that. We believe that all these big companies don't have any challenge. They all have the same challenges that you're having. It's human institution. So you don't need to be perfect to grow. You don't need to be perfect to be profitable. You just have to go. And there's a certain level of allowance or a certain error percentage that you must accept, or you will wait forever. You will think that you have to have it right before you start. And many times, nobody gets it right 100%. Whatever that you have, start to move and polish the process. Start to move and polish the process. So I was very fascinated that the young man, I'm sharing Kumasino, Obonidin, Pia, Bibisa, Pia, Osha, Michelle, a very intelligent man. And he was not talking negatively. It was not like me school you could zoom a lot of confidence, a lot of energy, and it is because of knowledge. If you know something, and the best form of knowledge is to know that you are enough to fight with what you have, and never feel diminished or victim. What is the English word? Like a victim, or don't feel decimated. Don't think that you're not enough. You are enough to fight from wherever you are, whichever village that you are. As a matter of fact, some people are watching us from their remote places. If you can watch us there, what else do you think you don't have? There are many things. Every one of us has an advantage. Every one of us has an advantage. So African youth, you're a young man, you are enough. Fight for something. You don't need any perfect situation. Just work with what you have and continue to learn. Just be open-minded that there's a lot that I'm going to learn, but I'm ready to take the first step. So in the morning, we went to Top Radio, and as Christianity made people poor. That was a nice program. You can watch it. I loaded it on YouTube, and I loaded it on Facebook as well. Dr. Anane, nice gentleman. And we went to Dwellers Gold Worldwide, lawyer Benjamin Into, and a pastor Benjamin Asian. Nice congregation. Very vibrant, very intelligent. I love it, So I enjoyed myself today in Kumasi. And I met Ibrahim for the first time. Ibrahim, my friend. The young man who had to go to Ejoso to start his own maize farm. I met him today. I met Kubri. We have had contact for over maybe 4 years. We met in person. Frank came around. Eda and JB. Who again? So many guys who came around. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you. So. Yes, and my friend Joe Bedu, he also came around, So thank you. It means that brothers and sisters, even if you say we will do it again, they will pick it and take it to the next step. So fantastic. Today's topic, family business. Joe in Canada sent me this topic. He said that we should look at it because he said that there are businesses in Ghana, in Africa, or some the businesses in some other part of the world that have been 200 years, 150 years. And here in Ghana, when we come to do something, family, no, in share any start business, no more free more na business, no, it's say a go. So we should discuss it. I said no problem. But when we were talking, I told him that my grandfather's cocoa farm is still there. So it depends on the structures that you're using to measure it. It depends on the structures, the conditions that you're using to measure it. So if you say that some companies are 50 years, 100 years, 150 years, Ghana as a country is 1957. I don't know how many years we are now, maybe. What is it? 1957. Let me put the calculator here and see. So it's what? 65? Or Ghana, what do you say? You know, so somebody help me. 1957 Independence Day, Ghana. 19. Okay, so two. Say how many? 66 Ghana. Well, this 66 yes. 66 yes. So if you're expecting some companies in Ghana to be 150, then you have to look at the industries that did not have to go through all these structures to be around, and I'm sure you can find some. Maybe, but it will not be in so-called companies. You know, it will be in, you go to a lot of these, our farm areas, you will see families that have kept their lands and their farms to a large extent. And some families have kept trade, you know, so it depends on the eyes that we are looking with. Some people even say that Ghanaian companies are not global. Then I look at what are the structures that are able to help companies to be global? What are structures that are able to help companies to be, you know, be able to make $100 million, $1 billion a year kind of companies? Then they cite Nigeria. Now, one thing about Nigeria is that the market size is huge. Don't ever forget that. So Nigerians don't have to go to another country to have huge market size. So they can build a lot of momentum in Nigeria before they even go anywhere. So they become very strong before they start to cross border. Ghana is just 30 million. So the market size is not that big. So sometimes we make a lot of statements and we push a lot of pressure, even though it's a good desire. But I think we should also be able to explain some things. That does not mean that we should stay little. But there are some comparisons that many times we do that would always make us feel like we are not enough, we are not up to task, we are nothing. We say, oh, all the billionaires in Africa, there is no Ghanaian. I don't know. Because sometimes the things that they use to measure them, if they are not involved, they will not promote you. If they are not the ones funding, especially these institutions that are judging and saying that this economy is this size, this economy is this size, this man is worth this size, many times they decide the formulas that they use. And if they think that you are not somebody that is following their formula, then you are not part of it, So family business, I think that we should look at the context that we have. It's okay to build a business and leave the business to your children. It's okay for you to think of succession plan, as some people say. A friend of mine was talking about succession plan. I said the business has not even stabilized. I'll take care of succession plan. That is good, but I don't bother so much about those. I think what you need to do is to be in industries that the structures of our economy, the legal structure and all those, even the political structure. There are businesses that were doing well and just change of government, especially when the military people came in. There were so many businesses that if they had left, Boachima Tres and all, some of them were in production, some of them in automobiles, some of them were big distribution companies that, all these military people had to just, chase away, some of them in prison, some of them killed. And so if we had allowed some of those businesses to be there, at least maybe we would have some, some, if you so desire to, to define our people as big businesses where one family takes over, I'm sure we would have had something like that. So if you look at industries that were not touched, those industries will still be having families that have taken over from one generation to the other. So the laws that we are using is key. Even company size, the revenues that they make, much of it, the investors that come to invest. The other day when we met a gentleman, he said that if you're looking for money, why don't you go to the international market? A lot of our people speak a lot of English with that proper understanding of what is happening on the ground. What is happening on the ground and what you're even comfortable with. If you're a business person, there are things that you should know. These are things that I'm very comfortable with. There are some things, or even sometimes there are some associations that you will not want to get involved. There is a gentleman who sent me some message and he mentioned some global organizations that he's on, and if I would want to look at it, I said many times, if the same people who are calling us underdeveloped are the ones running them, many times I'm not comfortable to join it. Why? Because their little contribution, they will say that they made you. Many times. With all your effort, they will say nothing about it, but they will say that, but many of our people would just easily, they want to join and be called and be tagged and be celebrated. It's key. It's to them, maybe. But I think that you have to look at what you really desire, what you're comfortable with. Some people would not want to do even some contract with some agencies because of the practices that are there. Some people don't care. They want a lot of money and it does not matter what it takes. I think that it matters how the money comes as well. It's not just that you want power, you want money, you want fame. So everywhere you have no definition for yourself. Everywhere you want to go, just because to give you money, privilege, power. No, there are some associations that maybe they can blow us up, but if I look at what I stand for, I would think twice before I join, because of I know a big business person. He said that some people wanted to buy this company. I told them that no, I will not sell it because our people must have example. So he is thinking of not his. They would have just made him a billionaire. Next time you see him in the newspaper, this man is a billionaire from Ghana because it's a huge company. But he said that he will not sell it because he wants his people to see an example that a Ghanaian can do it. Now, so you will not see that man, in those books. You will not see him in Forbes. You will not see in all those magazines to say that this is a Ghanaian billionaire. But he could easily become a billionaire if he had sold the business, and maybe they would have revalued the business and all those. He would have had a lot of money. But he said that this is what I stand for. So sometimes your values, what your pride is also key. What you want to represent. So after the man is gone, we will still have example of a Ghanaian who was able to build this company, and maybe his children even took over and he didn't sell them. There are other Ghanaians who are just looking for the money, the classification, the fame, so they will just say, okay, well, I don't care about what others have to look at. It's about me, and he would sell it. And the next day you see them in American magazines and all those that he is a billionaire in Ghana. So I'm saying that sometimes what the business owner, the founder, the people behind the business value is also key, because sometimes they can prevent them from taking some steps because of what they think. So the structure of our business many times may not. So when you're judging us that we don't have a lot of businesses from, our family people are not involved. Many businesses, their families are involved. Many businesses, their families are involved. There are other things that we will talk about, but many businesses, their families are involved, and they are doing well. You go to Makola, there are businesses that the daughter is involved, the son is involved. You go to Adum, there are businesses that, but you see, generally, we say a lot of these things. People don't join family business. How people don't join this. How people don't join this. So we just bring one example. But even if you go to some of those countries, there are also companies that are very comfortable to be very small, very little, and they just protect their interests and nobody knows them. And they have handled wealth from one generation to the other. There are families in Ghana like that. You may not hear their name, they may not be in a lot of your books, but they are still very wealthy. So, but if you want to use modern classification, like the ones that you see and read on the internet, then I'm saying that the structure of our economy may not push a lot of our people into that. The way we register businesses, even our tax laws, our tax regulations, so because sometimes when the children see their parents and how the institutions deal with them, why would they want to take over? They see that the father has a big business, but every now and then somebody is trying to say that he's a criminal. So when that son goes through that, they would not want to, because it was almost like somebody else wants to bring them down because they are not supporting their political party. so the kind of structure that we have is also responsible. I know a businesswoman who could easily build malls, but she said that she's not going to do it because the people will worry her. So sometimes in the future, when you see her children not following her steps, it's not because they could not do it. It's because they didn't want. At this stage, the system does not support growth of local businesses, or you have to be very tough to deal with it. So it depends on the mind of the people involved. So structure is key. The so-called after independence, the structures that we have. If you say that we want businesses to be transgenerational, we should look at the structures. We should look at the structures, how we regulate them, our codes, our laws, and then even the funding, where they are getting money to invest. Almost all big businesses have access to very cheap, affordable funding. If you go to the stock market in Ghana, how many local businesses are on the stock market? Most of these companies that we are saying that have been around for many years, the stock, if they have to go to the stock market, the regulations are such that you can't take a lot of decisions all by yourself. Now, when did we even start to have a stock market? I know that the current Minister of Finance was involved in how our Ghana stock market was arranged. So that is just from the 90s. If my data is right, I know I heard it somewhere long ago. Just about the 90s, where we started to organize a lot of companies to go to the stock market and flow shares. So if you want us to be 150 years, then that will be very difficult. Because even the stock market, access to capital, access to fund for growth, it's not 1 million, it's not 2 million. I'm talking of companies that are doing 500 million, those in billion a year kind of companies. Those, they have access to funding. Dangote, Alhaji Dangote, his businesses in Nigeria, they are on a lot of stock markets as well. So it's not that it's just coming from his money. It's coming from all these other areas that he's able to get investors' money. And once you're able to go to those people, they force you to structure a bit to suit. So it's no more about the funder, but it's more of the structures. That it's just like going to a place to rent where a lot of structures are in place. There are some things that they demand that if you were renting in a different place for business, you will not have to feed them, or you not have to follow a certain formula. But many of these well-organized companies, so to say, if they rent to you, there are things that they demand. And so even if you are not organized, just because you rent from them, you start to organize, and that will help the business to go beyond just yourself. So for the business to go from one generation to the other means that the business must be established so that it's beyond the founder, it's beyond the person who started it. And it will mean that there will be systems, there will be structures. But we are saying that in our economy, the systems, the structures are still very much evolving. There are so many things that we have to put in place before we can demand that Ghanaian businesses we can track. So I normally don't say those, that some companies, some countries, they have 200-year businesses that I don't say those. The Ghana itself is 60-something years. So I don't say them. And if you want to say that, I say that, then go to the cocoa farmers, go to the north, you will see traditional businesses that have been around that families are still. Because largely, I think that many of us are still comfortable at that level. Because when the so-called modern businesses are run on debt, and how much is your interest rate? How much is your interest rate? These governments are taking tax from everything. So the small capital they have is even gone. And when they know that you have a lot of money, they're demanding a lot of things from you as well. So as a country, I don't think that we are structuring and thinking that our business people should be able to build businesses so that when there are no more, those businesses will stand. No, I don't think that the governments are putting structures. It's just the individuals who may be striving to do something like that. But as a country, because most of these countries that you see, they really, or they intentionally design those things so that businesses will be generational, from one generation to the other. They actually did that, and that's why they bailed some companies out. That's why they forced some companies. Sometimes even when the company is becoming so huge, they say that no, there's monopoly. Let's take this guy to court. Let's split the business so that others can have competitive edge. We are not in that state as well. So don't judge us. I would say that don't judge us with a lot of those things. Handle us the stage that we are. Handle us with the steps that we are, the level that we are. For me, that is what is going to make a lot of our people comfortable. So look for what works, which industries that you can easily build and give to your children. But for our generation, so the reasons we may not have a lot of these 100-year, 200-year, businesses is what I'm telling you. But for our generation, if you're doing business, maybe with your family, with your brother, with your sister, with your wife, with your in-laws, be open-minded. When you are working with somebody, especially if somebody finds a business and you are working with him, give that person absolute respect. You should not be the one fighting him. No. And if you have a business and your family people behave like that, take them out. Take them out. You need a business atmosphere, a business culture that is very productive. Must have people who have some bit of reverence for those who are building the business, and they know the sweat, they know the bullet, the pain that you're taking. If they are that much disrespectful and ungrateful, and the only reason they are there is because they are your family, you are not going to build any business, because you're going to exert a lot of energy trying to handle their emotions and their immaturity than to spend that energy trying to build that business. So there's always when you one cow, there's when you baby, because you are handling very unnecessary things that you don't need to handle. So if you want to your brother to work with you, then you must school him, teach him that if you're here, you work like anybody else who's here. If nothing at all, you work more than those who are here. And I need you to show, the culture must be that when you're absent, that cousin, that brother, that sister, that wife should be talking well of you. If any time that you give instruction, they give counter instruction, you're not going anywhere. And unfortunately, many of our people, when they work with family, that is the kind of psyche that they come with. And that is why we say that family businesses, our non-employment brother, it's the training. The others who are able to work, others who are able to work with their people, the other races who are able to work with their people, is because you can see the reverence, you can see the respect, you can see the appreciation, you can see the fact that the guy feels is honored for his brother or his sister to, have this business that he is working there, and he's working for the interest of the growth of the business, for the interest of the business. He's not putting himself first. But many of our people, because of lack of training, when your family member is working with you, is putting his interest first. And I my yache, minyan and I pay you crasa, we shall be our cancer. And I may bra, what talk as better is to tell me I'm a fat rotro. And say, if it's like that, the business is not going to go anywhere. You have to sack him. Or you have to contain him, so that you can have a productive culture in his absence without much contribution from him. Because many people who have employed their family people in business are going through a lot of pain because they are not trained. And I don't know, one way or the other, the culture that we have built, the psyche, the culture is an education system. And so you can predict the behavior of anybody from any culture many times. Not absolute, but many times you can predict that this guy is from Ghana. This is how he's going to behave. This guy is from a Kan family. This is how he's going to behave. This guy is a Northern or Dagomba. This is how he's going to behave. You can trace that from all their tribes, And if you put the country together, you can trace that. So many times when I go to any place, you go to buy something from any shop, you see the workers, the words they use. Hardly would they be talking well about the business or the business owner. They are always saying something negative, something bad, and why they are not happy there, and why they need another opportunity, why they want to go travel, why they are delaying in life, why the brother does not even listen to them, but the brother is listening to the wife. We have a problem, and much of it is because training is not there. We must attack that. We must teach them that if you behave like this, the business will not grow. There was a time that somebody was just begging that, I want to come work with you, family person. We allowed them to come and work. When we were facing a lot of troubles, I was still trying to pay them. And they were there. They were never happy. They were never there for us. They were never behaving like it was an honor to have that opportunity to work with us. So it's very tough. And that is what makes it tough. It's the psyche, the training. Sometimes even dear mother, your mother, common share mother or brother or sister, something that is happening in the business, they take it to the family and they want to discuss it. And they want to gang up, and it's always you are not right. They are always right. The ones who are following you, they are always right. You are not right. The one who is leading. I say sikano nkwa no akisa abobo umpeso bia benyabi and bibiaro assembles or when there's trouble, they don't show up. When there's money, then you see them that now they have worked with you. So it's a psyche is a problem. Major one. I'm sure that anybody who has built business in Ghana with any of these, family people, these are very normal for you to encounter. Even those who are not family, when they are working, they are upset. Our work ethics, we just always try to look for our interests. No, for a family business to work if you want, because almost every business is a family anyway. Somebody started it, maybe. All these big companies that you see, one person may start it, but the wife or the girlfriend or the brother will come in, they will help them, and then they take it to the next step, and before you see it, it's a big company. Everyone starts an idea with immediate relationships, but we need to raise the psyche of our people to say that when you work here, this is how you're supposed to behave, this is how you're supposed to think, so that the business can grow. If not, it's 90% of the times it's all trouble, it's all fight, because the immaturity is so high and their ego, and you can't correct them. And I'm saying that if your business has that kind of culture, you're going to worry too much. And so that's why people decide, or people say that I don't want to employ family people. It's not because when you employ family, it means it's wrong. No, it's because of the psyche of the culture. The way people will behave, and eventually they'll behave like that. Eventually they'll behave, almost all of them, they'll behave like that. Oh, Buano, the school, when you're baby Jina was and they will take that decision, they will never think of your interests. Those that you even help, rent, even buy houses for them, cars, send them to school, especially when they get to the stage where they want to marry. The men want to marry, the women want to marry. If you don't handle that stage well, the relationship will suffer. Because when they find love, they will not listen to anybody, any common sense. And so we have a lot of trouble that we have to think through. We have to think through. It's not good. Because I think that if you look at the level of unemployment, the businesses that people have to start, if you know your brother and he starts something and you are there, change your psyche, change your mind. Your brother is not perfect. He's going to do some things that may not work well for you, but don't say that, oh no, when you're comfortable to walk up. Everybody has to think for themselves. But that brother put you in school. Maybe you lost your parents early and your brother sacrificed so much, or maybe your parents didn't have. So he was the firstborn and he had to take a lot of leadership at a very early age. Maybe he even put you through school and he didn't go. And now you are using your big English. That is not right. You have to tell yourself, this is my brother's sacrifice for me. As a matter of fact, I owe my life to him. When somebody picks you from a stage, when somebody picks you from a stage where without that person's help, you'll be lost, you'll be gone, you'll be nothing. You owe that person the rest of your life. When you're making any decision and that person says, relax, never think that that person does not have your interest. Because when you were feeble, where you could not go anywhere, that person took the challenge out of their inconveniences and helped you. Now you are somewhere and you are making a decision. It says that, no, take it easy. You say, no. He doesn't want me to do well. He wants to suppress me. Hey, he wants to suppress you. When nobody stood in you, he was there for you. So when somebody takes that kind of bullet for you for the rest of your life, make sure that you don't hurt that person. Anytime that you are making any decision, double think. For me, if somebody stands in for me, even if they offend me, it will not mean anything. I will not put my ego or my pride for somebody who stood somewhere for me. When you were nothing, when you were a teenager, when you were young, when you were a child, he sent you to school. He fed you. He rented a place for you. He bought you clothes. And now you say that you're going to have weddings. So his judgment does not matter. It will destroy you. And people carry that to the workplace. And so your brother started that business. Out of that business, he took care of you. Now you have your degree. No, don't do that. Go back, because then he needs your full support. He needs your full loyalty. He needs you to be truthful. Be open. Tell him everything. Don't hide things. I'm going to do, build the media. It does no. And that's why we have a lot of this, a lot of these things happening in the country, because people have not been really taught. If somebody, your brother, your sister, your father, stands in for the family, if you're taking any decision, agree with them many times. If they didn't do anything and you are the first one to fight, then that is a bit different, because then you have to go and fight for the rest of them. But if somebody has already taken the fight and they have held your hand to a certain stage, it's a different thing. So your mother has built a business. Out of that business, you have gone to medical school. Now you are saying that you don't want to be in that business because you have gone to medical school. You need their consent, because out of that business, they paid your school fees. So when you're saying something, you have to be very much careful what you say to them. They need you to continue where they left. Don't just leave it as me, I don't care. And there are many people like that. When people have sacrificed everything to take care of you, and where you are now, you want to make decision as if nobody sacrificed anything for you. And we carry that to our workplaces. So you employ people, they come with the same foolishness. It's a foolishness, actually, for you to only think of your interests. Never think of your interests like that. Think of the group interests. Always, when you're making decision, when you're taking decision, think of that. You work with them. They need you this time. You say, no, I'm going to go to school. I don't care. I've saved some money. From where? From the same business. You want to go to school. You leave it. And the people out of pain. The business collapses. No. And so think through when you are with your father, with your mother, and they are building something. Cover them. Cover them. If you're in that position. And if you are the owner to open up, people grow. So when they are growing, they would want you to relate with them according to their maturity. So talk to them with respect, engage them. Wherever that they have strength, use that. Ask their opinion, because now is no more a child. It's key. So my name is OBENG DARKO. Today we are talking about family business. And I'm saying that family, the way we have structured a lot of things in our country, there are so many confusions when people work with their family. But I think that many families will become wealthy if they learn to work together. And so the tools, the things, the accoutrements that we need to learn how to work together and build something is key. Many of us, if you are trying to do it ourselves, we may not get anywhere. You and your wife, you can do something. You and your brother, you can do something. You and your sister, you can do something. You have to be a particular person for you to work with a family person. You have to have proper understanding and big heart And you have to be forbearing if you want, not egoistic. So my name is OBENG DARKO. I'm saying that today, many families, they do that. And when you watch the Lebanese, you will see it. It's not that they don't have trouble, they have, but they harbor a lot of the disagreements because they've been taught structurally. Structure, no, I say, I can't so your boss some do. What take care of Bugra, what teams are quite land cruising. Bogai Kauba. What the Malan cruise are non cross on. The way obeying at terminal, the sense of respect has to be worked on. And so when you look at a taxi driver like that, and this taxi driver is working in your business, no sense of respect. Even security. Sometimes you're going to park your car, and you look at the way they will address you. Many times when they talk to you nicely, it's because they know you or you have tipped them before. But for them to be very decent, many of them know. They are only nice when you give them money or they know that you're going to give them money. But owners of businesses must teach them that you have to show people respect, whether they come with trotro or or bika. Today, somebody was, when they know you, when they know you, they act differently. When they know you as somebody with something, they act differently. When they don't know you and they assume that you're nothing, the treatment is also different because of lack of proper training in a lot of the things that we do in our country. So you have to give yourself that training, that I'm working as a security person. Whoever comes here is a human being. I show them maximum respect. I'm a taxi driver. Whoever comes to me, I show them maximum respect. If the police officer stops me, I talk to him with dignity. If anybody crosses me, I hold myself. If it's your mate, you can fight with him, no problem. But sometimes you look at the person, think twice before you shout, because many times that is the person that may lead you to the next stage. You never know. So that thing is key, where you know that you have to follow protocols. You have to learn how to follow protocols. People, what fun Juma? Wojaya Jumana, you'll be catching on your mission. They'll be catching because Wojaya Juma when you're different option. So you're nothing. No, even when you are leaving the workplace, always living or live as you came. When you were coming, you were respectful. When you are going, be the same. Because now you are angry. In a month's time, the anger will go down. And that boss, you work with him for 5 years. All those 5 years, you have lost it because of your anger. So if there is anything, he will never think of you. And even when you go and you want to start something, you can call him for advice. You can call him for connections. You can call him for something different. But many of our people, because of foolishness, when they are leaving, they shut the door. They become emotional. There's something that they are not happy with. And there's always something that Ghanaian workers are not happy with that you can't even find. Very, very funny. They are unhappy with something that does not have to even get your attention. And somebody talked to me anyhow, and boss does not say anything. So very unnecessary. But those things are very dear to them. And so when they are leaving, they take fight with you. But after a while, they will start to think that maybe I didn't need to be angry. Because in that case, you don't become successful that fast in life. When you are living anywhere and you shut the door, Everywhere you have been, you have shut the door. If the first business, the first company that you work with, you don't talk to anybody there. Second company, you don't talk to anybody there. So what are you? You have become an island. No connection. And yet many people are like that. So for me, if you come for interview and you say all those things about your previous work, I won't pick you. I will not pick you. If you didn't have any good thing to say about those that you work with, the same thing that you do here. Even if you qualify, I won't pick you. It means that you have character problem. And so we normally engage informally and create jokes and pick those signals and see what the person is going to say. So the same with family people. When they are living, before you see it, it's a problem. And so you have to, for you to have family business, you know that we need this. It's a leverage. Come together with respect, treat each other well. The leader respect him. Even if he makes mistakes, cover him. Disagreeing and talking behind him and telling everybody that he's not, he's chopping the money. There's always somebody who's saying that the business owner is chopping his own money. It's amazing. Your boss, when you go, what discouraging a pema, but boss the card want it. Boss the card or the utia was so you have to hold that kind of structure, respect, honor is key. It takes a lot of effort for anybody to build any organization. So if the people that he's with don't respect him, it's nothing. It pains. It's painful. So if nobody in the business respects your boss, you be the one who respect him. Be that person. Let you be the person that he can always trust and depend on. So my boss, he doesn't listen to anybody. How would he when people have disappointed him so many times? So come together, you can build something. The other day, somebody was saying that, oh, my brother was in the business and now he wants to take over the business. When they come out with that fight, find a way to solve it calmly. You don't need to destroy your relationship with your brother, with your sister, because of a business. You need to find a way to solve it. So come up with ideas, and especially the juniors, the followers, so to say. Be a person that people would want to emulate, because people will look at you. The way you treat your brother, your sister, your father, your mother in that business is the way that they are going to behave. If they see that you don't respect him, it will be very hard for them to respect that person. The way you talk to him, in his presence, in his absence, is very key. It's very key, because then people will see it. People will see it. And if you work with your father, for instance, yes, why would you want to complete school? Shop was a medium. No, go there. Or shout or cry, go there. Let him see that you are maturing. I don't think that what build the business or my years school house or monko baby. I'm going to yeah. I'll be the pele or bobo on we and the banners of Bobby. Are you the man or your friends? Like, get it? The man is on Bobo. With the trouser with the old coyote. Are you the man of Bobby and who's a Bobo? It's a gift in the family. They are not trying to be doctors. They say that they play football. So if you put them to do that, he's been able to train them to do that. So you should also look. Don't just say that will be a pen one yet. Now, if you what the 30 years, 40 years, Ashimono, oh, yara, and I just a human idea. No, I think you should involve them. They say that, oh, how about if they don't like it? If they're not passionate about it, there's one of them will like it. If they don't like it, get them involved. Who doesn't like money? Whether they are going to work, wherever that they are going to work, I don't know going to work for money. Let them see that there's something they call family wealth. There are families that don't have to work for salary. It's because they train their family to handle the wealth that they have created. So if you create wealth today and the next generation is not trained how to handle it, then they will start with nothing. Just the education, just the certificate. No, but there are families that don't have to work for anything because of the investments that the previous families made and how they've been taught to manage them and handle them to the next family. And I think that many families, if they teach their children how to preserve this wealth, then the next family or the next generation can add up to it, but they will not have to start from nothing. So it's not just about the business, it's also about wealth preservation in the family. So don't just say that, oh, Muslim pay Jumano. It's not just the Jumano, there are a lot of properties in the business that they must know how to handle. So you don't just let them go. Say that it doesn't matter, it matters. Because then your grandchildren will also have to go and look for nothing, as if their grandparents never did anything. And many times they did something. It's just the transition, the management of the transition. is where the problem is, and it's because of the psyche. They say that on pedi won't be also on pay, be pay. Teach them, at least one of them. But at least one of them will learn. So my name is Obedako. Good evening, Mr. Obe. I learned you went to Kumasi for but you are here for us again. Didn't bother to rest. Not that we came. We had to come, So we had to come. Somebody said who and who. I came myself with the Holy Spirit. I came with the Holy Spirit. The angels of God were with us. So my name is Obedako SK. So Joe, maybe I think so. We need a lot of families to also own. But the structure that we have in our country is where the problem is. Even that, there's the business and there's the word preservation. Many times they are not the same. Out of the business will be investments that the family will make. The children and the family people involved must be taught how to take care of those. Many times the business can even die, so to say. You can lose the business and still not lose the wealth of the family. There's difference. The business is a tool to build wealth, but the wealth management could be different from the business management. So even if the children are not so much key in getting involved in the business, how about the wealth that has been built out of the business? Teach them how to handle it. And that is what many of our grandparents did. The cocoa farms, the houses that they built, the grandfather's house that he built, nobody's renovating it because you are trying to build yours, forgetting that your grandchildren will also forget yours. At least if you have money, go and put it in good shape and maybe even rent it. The cocoa farm that he left your mother, nobody is taking care of that cocoa farm. It's the same way when you're not there, the others who are coming after you will not take care of anything. So take good care of it. Go and, do some refurbishment if you want. Some rejuvenation of the farm, of the house. Paint it. Don't leave it for it to collapse. Many times you just few cash, you can put it in a good shape. So the work that the previous generation left, if it's in your hands, maintain it well, manage it well, keep it anew. Keep it in a current state. We just send some masons there. You have a house at Asafo. If nobody is painting it, sometimes it shocks me. Very big house. And if you look at all the TV cables around the house, so they never left this house for somebody? It's because all of them have gone to build their mansions, so they don't care. No, somebody should care. Organize money, refurbish it, put it in good shape. Because that is how you preserve the wealth. The business may have died, but whatever they built out of that business can be preserved. And it's our duty to preserve that. But many times they go to court and fight over nothing. You and your brother, why are you in court? What for? You and your sister, why are you in court because of what your father left? No, don't go in court like that. Find a way to talk to your brother. Find a way to talk to your sister. Find a makeable solution even if you lose. Doesn't matter, but at least don't lose the relationship. There's no way that you fight so much with your brother, with your sister, that you don't even talk again. No. Find a way to talk, to connect. It is very key. Because if you are building a lot of these things, there'll be opportunities for all of us. But we are letting a lot of these things drop, die. And that's why many of us have to start with nothing. Many of us would have to start with nothing. Mr. Money, you're saying that thank you both for treating this topic. Our biggest unemployment challenge is largely because of our parents excluded us from, their children from learning and handling the family business. Yes, because they want to become lawyer, doctor. Oh yeah, Juma, oh yeah, provision shop involve my friend. He has a provision shop. The son was trying to look for a place to work. So, but where we investing and so what? And no, my Juma. Next time you are taking it to ShopRite level, and the boy is there. It's working. It's helping the family. The parents are elderly now, and it's there. It's working. He's put CCTV there. He's structured the place, renovated the shop. I'm not sure that the parents would have had, new energy to do that. But now the boy is doing that. And there are some of you who are at home looking for a job. and your mother is selling in the market, and you are saying that you are crashing. Crashing for where? Go and help her. You'll be shocked the ideas that will come to you. Just because you visited your mother. And when you start to see the money that they handle in the marketplaces, this office that you want to wear it at tight, you will forget it. And a lot of ideas will come. And when you start, you will take it to the next level. Because the reason is you must take the baton from the previous generation, and hand it to the next ones that are coming after you. We should not lose the family data, all the wisdom that they have acquired, doing all these businesses for 40 years, 15 years, because the next generation, nobody shows interest, we drop everything. Then we have to build again. Many times when they say that Africans, when they came to Ghana, the white people came, were not able to write, read, it's not because we're not able to write and read. There was a generation that could write, that could organize. But when the last person from that generation fell out, another generation came, and they never had any clue that their forebears were that great. For instance, if the last person who speaks a particular language dies, all the wisdom in that language dies with them. So there are so many tribes that don't exist now because they are in extinction. So the knowledge with a particular family, the word, the skill set, when the last person with that knowledge dies, it's gone. If that person is not able to transfer that knowledge to the current generation. So a time will come that great family, now nobody remembers that you were even that powerful because they did not transfer the wealth to the next generation. So it's your duty, not just the business acumen, not just the business knowledge that you have gathered, also the information that you gathered on money, on people, on all the things that you have. There are some families that have a lot of data on all the herbs that they put together to cure a lot of diseases. Because you went to school, you don't even want to learn it from your grandmother. So when your grandmother dies, she goes with everything. No, you should be getting them, take them to CSR, repackage them, and build a business out of it. So some of the problem is from the religious development character rather than developing over with the Odin Tokabeba. Maybe. So we need to do that, because if you really study the subject, you see that we are losing a lot of data, a lot of wealth, a lot of continuity. In many families or countries that are building wealth is because there is continuity. Civilization actually is transfer of information from one generation to the other. That is what there are things that I know because I learned it from my grandparents, my mother, my father, and there are things that I would have to teach my children. So if I don't teach them, they will start with different kind of information. So every one of us, whatever that you have gleaned, whatever that you have learned, teach the next one. Teach them. And I'm sure that if we're doing this constructively, if we're doing this structurally as a country, as a people, we would have a lot of businesses now. And the poverty level would actually would go down, because that cocoa farm, you would not leave it like that. Whichever business that you had, you will not leave it like that. If we had been taught to continue what the others who came before us left. But every one of us is trying to find a new start, because you don't want to look back and go to that which. But most of these great families that you talk about in this world, many of them that you say that their wealth has stayed for all this, it's because they insisted that these children will be taught how to run this wealth. They were taught. They didn't have the opportunity to say no, because they don't want to lose that kind of prestige in the society. You think that the politicians that we have now, their children will not continue there? Or because they know what they are enjoying there. So that's why they are finding every ways and means to put their children anywhere. So some of them become MPs, ministers, these CEs, they train them, they go to campaign with them. What do you think they're doing? Even the country that is not theirs, they are training their children to take over. You think the country is yours. It's there for them. See, a lot of these current prominent politicians, look at their family. Most of them, they are coming from families where their parents were politicians. They taught them. It's not because they express interest. Some of them, they actually just told them, train them, go to this school. They train them. They knew the school that they have to go to, they had to go to, the courses that they had to read. You know, they were not thinking of them helping the country to develop. They're thinking that their children will have, power in society, not for you, for themselves. Okay, so look at these churches. Their children are now taking over. You are there saying that my child can do whatever they want to do. They will do. Even if God has not called them, they have called their children to take over. Your children, you are not teaching them anything. Say that they can do whatever they want to do. Position them. You have to design a structure for them. Success is designed. Success is strategic. It's structural. It's intentional. You can predict the future of your children. They say that it's not possible. You can give them the tools, and the tools that you give them with, they will build with it. Even if it's deviation, it will not be as if you didn't give them anything. So the school that they go to, the courses that they read, where they stay, the environment, the friends that they take, the information you give them, all those things are positioning your children to become successful. Some of you are coming from free range. Nobody taught you anything. So you have to find yourself to teach yourself to be something. But you have information now. You need to teach your children where they will stay, all those. Sometimes even who they marry and all those. Because success is intentional. That's why the people have kept their word all these years. You just can't go and marry anybody like that. You just can't go to any university and read anything. It's intentional because they know what they are preserving. But you are not intentional about anything. Everything goes. And then you wonder why you go from one poverty to the next. Because success is structured, it's systemic. And they know it. They may not say it outwardly. They may not say it for us to hear. But if you study them, you see that they are intentional. Look at the people that their children marry. Look at where they stay. Look at the schools that they go to. Look at the things that is intentional. They build it. And that's why they can leave it for the next generation. And the next generation will still be intentional about it. And they can also leave it for the next generation. And they can also leave it for the next generation because they built it. They didn't leave it to chances. And you are just saying that you leave it to chances. It's in the hands of God. Okay. Leave it in the hands of God. But it's intentional. It's intentional. Success is intentional. So build it. Pay attention. And be the one to cause a change. So my name is OBENG DARKO. Today we are talking about family, business. Joe, Canada. Let's send me a very huge data. Maybe I should read the data. Let me see if I can read it. It's on America actually. It's not on Ghana. It's on America. So I'm trying to see if they say that 64% or so of businesses in America are family business. And he was saying that in Ghana, why is it not like that? Okay, so, and I said that our structures are different. We have industries that, okay, so this is where, okay, so there are, I'm quoting what Joe sent me. There are 5.5 million family businesses in the US. The source is FE USA 2011. Family-owned businesses contribute 57% of the US GDP. That is the data that Joe sent me. Yeah, that's a significant. That's more than half. That is $8.3 trillion. It employs 63% of the workforce. So that is what they call family businesses. And they are responsible for 78% of all new jobs created. 78% is almost like 100%. So it means that in America, all those who live there, the businesses that you work for, many of them were founded by families, man and husband, brother and sister, son and father. Many of them, they say 78%. And this one is coming from some research. And 35% of the Fortune 500 companies are family controlled. Okay. So in our country, we have to solve why our people, when you open business and you bring your brother there, your sister there, 2 years, they are fighting with you. As a matter of fact, when you travel and you come and take your brother there, the next day, they are fighting with you. Dollar kakrada wako korokora dia no moko. So it means that we have a challenge, and it's because of the disposition. Because of the disposition, because of the training, because of the culture. So there are things that in our culture that we must attack. There are systems there we have to deal with, but there are also things in our psyche, in the way we do things. So okay, so there's also a problem. The problem is that many of the people who even own the businesses in our country, they don't even believe that the business that they are doing, especially those who didn't go to school much. Juma we may because man go school ntia. Ntia didn't know the band be. The band is all pay rubber on if you crache on the metramacola. Even see that. On them quack what is that? Or co school, me banner co school, also ya crache Juma. A buy Juma be it means you. See yes, and they didn't know that is where the wealth is. He has built a lot of houses out of the same business, but he's never happy. That's why he's saying that it's so amazing that many of the people who didn't go to a lot of schools are sending their children to even American and British schools. You have big business in Ghana, you're sending your child to America, British schools. When they come, they can't manage the business. When they come, they will mess it up. They will come with Harvard theory. They will mess it. They will mess it up. Put that child in the business. When you're going somewhere, go with them. Let them school here. Because the intelligence you need to manage that business is not in Harvard. It's here. Just like the people they send to all these schools to come and manage the economy. You see what they are doing? Because that intelligence is here. It's not there. So you have a big business, and I mean the London Economic School. When they come, okay, you will see they will come and wear nice suit and collapse the business. And so, no matter whether you went to school or you didn't go to school, train. The business itself is a school. Train them. Let them. If you go to farm, go with them. If you own a business, if you have cocoa farm, go with them. If you have a shop, train them, push them there. They will cry. Especially those who have gone to this Montessori, they don't want to work. They only want to sit on the phone and watch cartoon. Force them, even when they cry, because when they are paying school fees, it's not happy. You are not happy to pay school fees, but you still pay. So they don't have to be happy to learn. Force them. They say child abuse, which child abuse? Force them. Push them. Because these statistics, you said that. So I'll read again. So there are 5.5 million family businesses in America, in the US. Family-owned businesses contribute 57% of the US GDP, which is $8.3 trillion. Employs 63% of the workforce and are responsible for 78% of all new job created or creation. 33 or 35% of the Fortune 500 businesses are owned by families. I don't have data on Ghana, but I'm sure that a lot of these are businesses are still family. And I don't know what they call families, but I'm just assuming that it's owned by mother, father, brother, sister, and it's transferred to the next generation, just like that. And there are things that they know. That is why they're able to move from one stage to the other. And I'm saying that the country itself has been able to organize some things that are helping them to transfer the wealth. We are copying. We copy from Britain, America, everybody. We are not building with the structure that we have. So there's a fall through. There's a lot of harassment. There's a lot of wrong teachings, wrong institutional controls. And so if you want to have the same or better, then we must sit back and restructure. And we will need government officials, presidents, who understand these things, who will structure our business environment such that our businesses will stay. And business people will not feel frustrated or afraid to build great businesses and expand and grow. But even your small shop, they are coming with chain. Why would you want to open a big one? Your small shop, they are coming with chain. You're saying that you are not paying something. So we have problem. But our attention is not on them. Our attention is on the new generation. So that when you become one of them, you cause change there. cause change there. Because if you want to deal with poverty, this is it, 78%. So can you imagine that 78% of Ghanaian businesses, the GDP of Ghana is controlled by a lot of these family people, which means that we must build. So don't say that we can't work with our family, because this is the data. If I found a way to work with it. Anyway, so my name is OBENG DARKO today. And then a busy sorry. Business and finance seminar. I love it. If you have a church and you want us to, agree on a time to come, invite me. We can agree. If it's possible, we'll come. If you have a school, if you have a club, if you have a business that you want training, send me a message. Let's see how we can do. We can't do everywhere, but at least we can look through and agree to one or two. If you have a business, you want training for your workers, sales training, customer service training. You have an organization, you want finance and business training for them. Send me a message. I will put my number here. 02466318874. You have any organization that you want people to join, you want training, send me a message. And we are also distributing, we are looking for sponsors of our books. We are looking for sponsors of our books, and Rita is the one who came up with that. And many people have contributed. You can buy 1 book, 2 books, 3 books. You can even tell us, send it to my village, or send it to my school, or send it to this school. If you can do that, please do. We have to find a way to inject knowledge anyway, anyhow. The difference between us and others many times is the level of knowledge that our people process. If you can raise the knowledge, we can raise the standard of living of our people. We are not poor. It's the knowledge that we have. No matter what they describe us with, we are not poor. It's not true. The information, we have the opportunities. Even this family business, you can only look at cocoa or orange, or even a goat farm, or cattle or sheep, and you can move from. There are families in the north which own cattle from one generation to the other, and they are doing it. There are those in so they have that one way or the other. So we have to